involving ISIS terrorists in Iraq and growing Iranian influence in the region. We have Fox team coverage tonight. James Rosen here in the Bureau with how Iran is continuing to expand its bank account despite economic sanctions. We start off, though, with Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry and new uncertainty about what the president might be willing to do to get a legacy deal done with Iran. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Brett. That's right. The president today seemed to leave the door wide open to giving Iran quicker sanctions relief than its critics on the Hill want.
President Obama said he did not want to interfere with Secretary of State John Kerry's negotiations, but signaled he's open to letting Iran get immediate sanctions relief in order to make it more palatable to Tehran. Just days after the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, said that was one of two key conditions to get a final nuclear deal by the end of June.
Part of John's job and part of the Iranian negotiators' job and part of the P5+1's job is to sometimes find formulas that get to our main concerns while allowing the other side to make a presentation to their body politic that is more acceptable.
At a news conference with Italy's prime minister, the president added twice for emphasis his main concern instead is making sure if Iran breaks the agreement, sanctions can be snapped back in place. And he downplayed concerns that Russian President Vladimir Putin is now selling Iran defensive missiles.
I'm frankly surprised that it held this long, given that they were not prohibited by sanctions from selling these defensive weapons.
That came as Speaker John Boehner, in an exclusive with Fox Business, sharpened his attacks on the president for letting the U.S. take a backseat role to Iran against ISIS on the ground in Iraq.
I think the fact that the Iraqis had to call or accept an offer from the Iranians to help direct the fight going on in Tikrit should be an embarrassment to our country.
Meanwhile, in another key Iraqi city today, Erbil, ISIS launched a complex attack on the U.S. consulate, starting with a car bomb, followed by an 8-man assault team, which killed one person and wounded 5 others, though all U.S. personnel were accounted for.
I think that Iraq remains a dangerous place. Many parts of it do.
Republicans are also furious that Joint Chiefs Chairman General Martin Dempsey suggested it did not matter much that ISIS has advanced on Ramadi.
The city itself is, it's not symbolic in any way.
Republican John McCain, a frequent critic of Dempsey, said it was stunning since Ramadi is the place where in 2006 U.S. forces led a ferocious battle to take the city back as part of the famed Anbar awakening.
And now this general says that it really doesn't matter. I wonder what he would say to the families of those Marines and soldiers, those brave Americans who were killed and wounded in the battle for Ramadi.
Now, we've just learned that the president spoke by phone today with the King of Saudi Arabia about Yemen, where Iran-backed Houthi rebels have seized power. Brett?
Ed Henry live on the North Lawn. Ed, thank you. Now to a fact about how Iran is actually pulling in